Of course, is creativity within the classroom. That is talking about the uh, artist teacher situation, how to deal with classroom, make a classroom better for any learning situation. And of course, this is a continuation. Before now, we've dealt with the objective, that is what is the classroom, what is creativity, or why is creativity necessary, what are the things or items expected in the classroom, what few types of classroom that we have that exist. And of course, today we'll be talking about defining creativity in a classroom, how to be creative in the classroom, the questions to ask, for the teacher, the classroom director, questions I would personally be asking, and of course a whole lot of other things. So I would really, really like you to sit back and enjoy this lecture today. Thank you for always being there. Thank you so much.
Now, defining creativity in a classroom. This in this one, I'm going to really streamline on what are the things or areas of creativity within the classroom, because these have to do with the different areas that creativity can be applied in a classroom, and of course this also extend to areas beyond the four walls of any classroom, if true learning process is to be achieved. So because we must understand quite well that learning process most times extend beyond the classrooms, so we must put into consideration some other things, some other areas of learning that are beyond the classroom. Yeah. uh, the areas where creativity can really come up. The students' desks, chairs, shelves, hangers within the classroom. There could be some kind of decoration can come in from there. That is the student desks, chairs, shelf, hangers within the class. So hangers for their bags or for their jacket and stuff like that. You can be redecorated for certain reason, for certain event, or for certain anything in the class. Number two, the school bags, that is their bags, exercise and textbooks. You can create a kind of rosette, a kind of tag that you could just attach to their bags. Oh, the best student for the day, or the most creative student for the day. You just tag it there, or even on their textbook or exercise book, it's just there, palm, and the textbook, that particular exercise they've done today. Oh, these are my wonderful students. You've attempted this, you've attempted that, you've done this, or you have done so well in this, and you tag it right there on their textbook or exercise books. And of course, another thing is the classroom walls, obviously. But in this case, we are not looking at damaging the wall, because there are some glue that you can't just attach to the wall, else it will damage it. Else it will damage it. So you must be able to uh, get the one that will not peel out by the time you want to remove or change the your chart or your artworks or whatever you place on the wall. You want to remove it, you want to replace it, and you are not pulling out the paint from the wall. So that is really that about that. So classroom wall can be decorated or can be placed with some wonderful charts and all of that. Now another thing is the entrance door or the door post into the classroom. You can decorate the entrance right there around the post of the door, the the all the side, even from all the four sides, all of that entrance to the classroom. Now another area, or you can decorate, I should say, that should be the fifth one. Now the ceiling or deck over the classroom, over the top right there. So at the ceiling you can put in some wonderful decorations right there, and of course it will look really, really creative. And of course, even the creation you are putting on the ceiling can be something that will be attached permanent. I won't say permanent, of course. There was something that we attach close and seemingly flush to the ceiling, and it could be something dangling down, like flowing right there from the ceiling downward. So it depends on how you want to apply the artwork or the creative item you've done. So another thing is the assembly point or line of the student, possibly before they enter into the classroom. So there, most classroom, or I mean, at least the ones I've research and all of that, they have assembly point before now, filing it right into their classroom. They are, so that assembly point, okay, I'm a class of this particular, I'm the class director or class teacher of this particular class, and of course these are the place my students are lining up, my learners are lining up. I can try to, you know decorate that very point before they even come on the assembly point. And of course they are coming, they are saying, oh, this is our teacher, he started again, he has really done it. So that's that. The assembly point can be decorated, and of course the assign rule in classroom, reassign for peculiar days and event. Okay, you have a particular class captain, and of course maybe you have an event that has to do with maybe Christmas and all of that. You say, oh, our class captain is for now the class Santa Claus, and the assistant class say the assistant Santa Claus. And you just pick out, you kind of rebrand, change over the title, the tags you've already given them. And of course, something like that is really, really creative. And of course, another thing is the way lessons are tagged. Of course, dated on the board on that very day. Most classes, if you use board, like, whatever kind of board you use, there will just be that space on your board where you have to write the day's date, and of course the topic for the day, the subjects, and all of that. So the way you write the date on the subject and of course the date, you can try to be creative with it, and do something different from the usual, probably to celebrate that particular day. Maybe it's a kind of Independence Day, or the boy child day, the girl child day, color day, whatever it is. So you have to, like, rebrand it, and it's going to look really, 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 really creative. And of course, the clothes or uniform that they've worn that very day, their clothes for that very day can be, yeah, there could be attached here and there to make their clothes look really, really different for that day. And of course, the classroom floor as well. Of course, in this case too, I won't be talking about you putting things that will damage the floor, and of course not something that may be permanent. You may just want to change it, so the floor where they stepped on, or where they step on rather, can be redecorated, can be attached with different kind of artwork. It might be a kind of like a kind of sticker or something that goes on the floor. All right, so that is that about the defining areas where creativity can be applied. Now, how to be creative in a class? How? We've not talked about areas where you can, create something or attach things creatively. But how? Number one is not going to be so much, but number one is create celebrative badges student can wear and can be hung on the walls directly, or as a kind of chart. So you can create some kind of wonderful artworks, like a kind of badge, like kind of rosette, like kind of a kind of little icon that they can just attach for a celebrative or event purpose. You understand? You can do that. So you can create celebrative badges, rosettes, or icon, or whatever that the student can wear, and of course can be attached on the wall directly or on a chart. Maybe you have a particular child, like a kind of birthday child, achievement chart, readers chart, and all of that. You can just attach those icons that you've created on the chart. So another thing is number two: create a fancy art or headdress. You can create a kind of fancy hat or headdress that they can wear, to celebrate a particular achievement within the classroom. It can be a kind of bandana, a kind of it could be just anything that you can just put on their head for the day, and of course they're happy. You, Obviously, you can say, okay, most of all these things are for like primary or nursery school classes and all of that, all the same. But as a creative teacher, as a creative person, you can rebrand or recreate that for an adult class as well. For an adult class as well, it might be okay if for my little children classes, like the primary class or nursery class, I'm creating a rosette that they can wear on their, or a kind of tag they can wear. All right, then for my adult student, I can create something like a tie pin. or cufflinks, well decorated, that is there, or a kind of pin for the collar, a collar pin that you just attach right there. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be anything really. So number three, um, sorry, you can replan or refocus uh, usual class activities to celebrate something new. So you have your routine, but this your routine for that particular day can be replanned or refocused towards that event that you want to really mark out. So that's another way to be creative in the class. And number four is to make the student create their own works, their own artworks, and of course discuss their project as well. This is another creative way. Fine, this is what they do every day, it's what they do most of the time, but probably you've not done so much or enough in the areas of, okay, really, 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 you've done this work. Tell us about your work and inspire us about your work. And of course, that goes beyond the idea of just telling about your work. You want to inspire us about it. So it's going to be a different way of telling about your work. Or you can like, okay, this, you've done your work. Can you like give us a kind of refocus of the work, like, okay, you've done the work for mathematics and this is a project for your mathematics. How can we refocus this particular project, mathematical project, to solving problems in like grammar? In like grammar, can you help us out here? So, but of course these things could have been discussed with the student or with the learners like a day before, that okay, this is what we are doing tomorrow concerning your project. Look for a way you can refocus it, look at the way you can plan it, and of course look at the way you can talk about it, discuss it, and of course create a particular work for this and all of that. And of course in this case we might be talking about moving out of our comfort zone. And finally, number five, assign class roles to either create a role play or pass across some certain kind of information. So there must be role. You can create a role play and like for that particular class, for the day class, you're actually creating role plays. It's going to be like almost like a drama class. And if you want to add a teacher, you can come up with costumes for that role play in the classroom. So that is also part of creativity within the classroom. So now on questions, I'm going to talk about this from two areas. I'm going to talk about questions to ask as a class director, as a class teacher. You must ask yourself, you must be able to ask yourself some basic questions. And the question number one is, what exactly make my class more beautiful, lively, student friendly, and creatively better than others? You must be able to ask yourself that. What exactly make my class more beautiful, lively, student friendly, and creatively better than other classrooms? Another question you can ask yourself, number two, is, am I doing what I should be doing at the moment, or idling away my time? Because for one to be creative, you have to spend time. Creativity is about you maximizing your time. So you must be able to ask yourself, am I doing what I should be doing, or just idling away my time? Just idling away my time. And nobody wants to idle away time unnecessarily. So number three question you can ask yourself is, do I even have a schedule for my personal day-to-day aside the routine channel by the school? Now, generally, you have a routine, you have schedule for what you are supposed to achieve, what you are supposed to do within the classroom, with your student, within the classroom, with yourself, and all of that. But now, on a personal scale, do you have a schedule? Do you have a schedule? Do you have a schedule as detailed, as minute as when I should talk, when I shouldn't talk? There is a schedule of when I should walk out of the classroom probably to do this, or when I shouldn't even move out or step out of the classroom to do anything. So you must have another kind of personal schedule for yourself. So you must ask yourself that question: do you have? So another question, number four, is, do I have an ideal? Sorry, do I have an idea bank bank for my classroom, you must have what you call idea bank that must be ideal in all situations, in all ramifications. So do I have idea bank? Like, okay, this is where when the idea coming, when the idea comes, when the idea comes in, I stack them here. I put them here. So I have like a bank of ideas. So you must have say, do you have that kind of bank? Another question I will call number 5 question is, what type of class do I really operate with my student? Initially I talked about the authoritarian, dictative class, individual explorative class, roundtable discuss class, question answer class. So you must know within yourself what type of class do you really operate with your student. And of course, in this case, it doesn't mean that you can't merge two types of classes together and all of that, but you must look for the one that fits your class and the one that is really working for your class and of course working for you as well. Another question that should be like number 6 question is, how many pieces of artworks or charts have we added to the class deck lately, and how relevant are they to our subject, to our topics for the class? So remember, I'm saying have we had it, which means you are not just doing this on your own. You are not just doing this on your own. The students are commissioned, the students are made to do things in the classroom because they learn more by participation. They learn more by participation. So you must have to say, how many pieces of artwork or chart have we had it so far lately? So, and finally, it should be that number 7. How far have I sampled outsiders' opinion about if my students are actually enjoying my class, and what is needed to be changed? What do I need to change to make my student enjoy my class if there is the fact that a fraction of them don't really enjoy the class? So I must be able to ask myself, how far have I sampled outsiders' opinion? Because it's very key when you are sampled outsiders' opinion. And of course, this outsider might be the parents or fellow teachers or even fellow students that once in a while come by to your class, and of course maybe subject mingling together with your class students and all of that. You must be able to ask a kind of question that help you to develop more. So that is that about question to ask yourself as a class director or class teacher. Now, question I will ask you as a class teacher, who is going to be who told you kind of question. I'm going to target who told you kind of question. So as a question that I will ask you. I will ask you. Now, I will say, who told you you can't be as creative as a craft and design teacher? That is something you need to think about. Who told you you can't be as creative, as good as the person? Because some schools, they have um a kind of separate teachers that come in and all of that. So like the art and craft teacher can be a separate person, that just comes in into your class to teach and of course later leave the class. But who told you, out of your creativity, out of how you manage your class, who told you can't be as good as that person? You might be a professional, no doubt, but you are also coming up. Who told you can't be? Another question I would like to ask you, that who told you you are not expected to commission your student to create excellent artwork once the material is available? Remember, I said something earlier on that it's not just you creating this, there, and that. All of course, the students is their classroom, the learners is their classroom. They create things and, of course, attached to the classroom. They create things, they show them to you, and of course, with your permission, you get them attached to the classroom at the vantage points and all of that. So, who told you they can't do that? If you allow them, they do excellent work, they do lovely works. So, another thing I'll ask you is, who told you you don't have enough material in your class already to inspire you and your students? Because most people, when you say, okay, do this, do that, they're like, oh, I don't have enough material. I don't even know how to get myself inspired and all of that. Who told you? Now, I just talked about your student areas where you can decorate their clothes, their body, their hangers, the shelves and all of that. You already have all those things. You just left for you to create something out of nothing. It might just be a piece of paper that you've done into a kind of beautiful, turn into a twist into a kind of beautiful origami rosette or origami piece, and of course you attach it here and there. It might even be anything. It might be a piece of ribbon that you just, fix here and there, cut here like this and like that to tag your class. So who told you you don't already have enough material in your class? You already have. You already have their body, their faces, their decks, all of that are material you can work on. And if you're talking about like other material like art supplies and all of that, you can start small. You can start with just piece of paper to create beautiful origami pieces and use crayon to do justice to it. So another thing I will ask you is that who told you you can you can't look or search beyond the usual to garner your inspiration? You can search within black to get inspiration on how to tackle white. That is as simple as that. That is as simple as that. So who told you you can't search or look beyond the usual to gather your inspiration? Now, you have a particular routine. You have this is the school operation, this is your classroom operation. You have all the right to go beyond in looking for inspiration in as much as it's going to be relevant to your work. You are moving, you are going home on the street, you see things on the road, you notice things. That's one beautiful thing about artists. We have this eye for detail, we have this eye for seeing things that others may not necessarily see. So you must develop this kind of eye as we are going home. Things that may not really be like, okay, I can't bring this to classroom, but let me siphon from it. Let me sieve it and try to rebrand it, rework it to have some relevance with what I do in my classroom. So who told you you can't search beyond the usual to get the unusual, whatever? Now, the last question I'm going to ask is, who told you you must be rigid and not flexible in accordance to the general energy flowing in your class for the day? Who told you? Who told you? So who told you you must be rigid? No, you have to be flexible in accordance to the general energy flowing in your class for that very day. So remember I said something earlier on that you must have a kind of relationship with your student that if one particular student is coming from home today happy and the other one is coming from home sad, you must have a space within you to accommodate the two of them. So when you're talking about you flowing with the energy, so you look for the pervading energy in your class, flow with it and build your lesson around it. Flow with it and build your lesson from there. So that is exactly what I'm saying. So I'm going to end everything here, and I hope you have learned one or two things from what we've discussed and all of that. Thank you for listening to me. And of course, I want you to subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. Check me out on my Instagram. Follow as well. It's going to be really, really beneficial to me and of course to the algorithm. And of course, I want you to come down below and of course chat me up in the comment section. And if you don't think that is possible, you can of course check me out on my email and on my Twitter as well. Once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.